we'll get into the next session, which is on the couch. Our first on the couch session is with allied health leaders, how to enhance staff well-being. And here to facilitate that is Jacci. Please welcome to the stage. It says here Jacci Allanson, but there's a Jasmine Allanson as well. Sisters? Not related.
We just found out this week we are related.
Could be. Please put your hands together for Jacci and Jasmine Allanson.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke, your love life's the old way.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
How do you know the room is full of millennials?
Everyone claps.
See, I'm a comedian too. Well, my name is Jacci. I'm the Director of Transcend Health for Exercise Physiology and Physiotherapy, and we have the extreme privilege of being your first on the couch session.
Yay.
With, of course, the honour of interviewing Jasmine Allanson.
Yes, and it was a strange conversation this week when we found out from our relatives that we are actually related to one another because we've never met each other before. I think we're third cousins twice removed or something.
Third cousins once removed.
By marriage.
By marriage.
So, yeah, it's a privilege to be here. My name's Jasmine. I am the Managing Director and owner of Inspirability, which is a paediatric occupational and speech therapy practice. Yeah.
Well, we'll get into our session because we do have a time limit and we can talk.
Yep.
So, first question is, how did you realise that staff wellbeing was an issue and what did you do to address it?
Yeah, so I've got the honour of coming today to talk about a program that we started in our small practice. So we're a practice of 16. We've got 10 therapists, 4 allied health assistants, and then our admin team as well. And about 5 or 6 years ago, we realised that we were having some challenges with staff taking sick leave. And there was a lot of sick leave that was being taken, and it was beginning to become a financial stressor as a business owner, but it was also really impacting the consistency of the supports that the families that we work with were receiving, which is just, I mean, it's so important in all of the allied health work that we do, but particularly in that paediatric clinical setting. The families are really relying on those weekly or fortnightly sessions that they have to continue the care and make progress towards their goals, and just to have that regular support. The cost analysis aspect of it showed that we were losing a significant amount financially every year when it came around to sick leave. So we got our creative thinking caps on and decided that we would introduce a program which we just call our wellbeing program at work. And so we introduced this as a trial, like a pilot program. So every staff member who works for us, be they clinical or non-clinical, receives $150 per year for each day that they work on our team. So if they work for 3 days a week, they get $450 annually. If they work 5 days a week, it's $750 annually. And they get that to go towards anything that's to do with their well-being. It doesn't have to be something that occurred in the workplace that has impacted their well-being. It's just anything that they feel would support their well-being. They can submit a well-being application and they can utilise that funding to support themselves. So, yeah.
Excellent. So what kind of activities has the staff chosen to use this wellbeing initiative for, and have any of their ideas inspired or surprised you?
Yes, there's lots of things that they have decided to use it for. So I think when we first started out, it was the traditional things like, oh, I've hurt my arm, I'll go to the physio, a psychologist appointment, and maybe exercise physiology if there was like a sports injury or something like that happened, a chiropractor. And then down the line, I started to get some really interesting applications coming in, things like some supplements to support their gut health, Tai Chi, could they use it for a gym membership, a series of Pilates workshops, even a book or something that they wanted that was going to support, their diet, a book that they'd like to read, podcasts, things like that. And so it's really expanded to just be, I guess, getting people to more deeply think about what actually would help my well-being, and if it's something that would, then it's something that they can apply for. And I'm inspired by that all the time because I'm just like, what a great idea. That's so fantastic. So
It's what a wonderful proactive way to look after our own health as clinicians.
definitely.
So this has been in place for a few years, and tell me a bit more about how it's evolved over time.
Yes, it has been 5 or 6 years now. So when I initially brought it to the staff in our staff meeting, we just said, look, we're going to trial this for 6 months. So we're going to look at what our data points are around sick leave at the moment. And then we're going to trial it for 6 months. We're going to see if people use it, what people's thoughts are about this type of program, as well as what impact it has on people being in the workplace and feeling their best selves in the workplace. So we've still got it going. So obviously it went well. I think one of the things that we really noticed was a dramatic change in sick leave. So we've been in this for 11 years now as a business, and for me, really those first 5 years, we would always have an allowance for sick leave, but in those first 5 years, we were always overextending that allowance for sick leave. And nowadays, we're always within the allowance for sick leave. And I'm not going to say that this is like the magic bullet, because I think that this was one of the actions that we took to address just overall well-being on our team. But it has made a big difference. So the kind of ways that it's changed in that time, actually the amount hasn't changed. So the amount that we set out with 6 years ago is still the amount that we have today. But we have trained our team leaders in our speech division and OT division to be more proactive in looking out for those health and wellbeing concerns, and really promoting the use of this wellbeing budget. Naturally, some people will be less, they might forget about it, or they might just, I don't know, like you guys are all health professionals. It's easy for us to put ourselves at the end of the line and give out to everybody else. And so just training those supervisors of those teams to enable that person to put themselves at the front for that moment and address the need that they have. Also, so they do that every supervision. That's the first question in our supervision sessions is, how's your well-being? So it's always there. And everyone has weekly or fortnightly supervision on our team. And then the other way it's advanced, I suppose, for me, is that I don't manage it anymore. So I've trained someone else on my team to manage it, and they get all the well-being applications and they deal with all the budgets and everything like that. So I guess it's just that starting something myself as a business owner, but then being able to delegate that to someone on the team and focus my attention elsewhere. So, yes, I think that answers that question.
It was a very thorough answer, thank you. So in addition to the reduction in sick leave that your team was taking, what other impacts has this initiative had on your team and your business?
Yes, so the sick leave was a really easy data point to manage, but the other thing is just that improved staff morale and that improved staff focus on looking after yourself. I think it can be easy as a leader to say that it is important to look after ourselves and we want our team to think that way. But I think when I say to the team, I want you to look after yourself and here's some money to do it, that really makes them feel like, oh, they really want me to look after myself here. This is not just something that we're saying, this is something that we're enabling. So I guess the other thing is that it certainly breaks down those barriers. So I've had multiple team members who have come to me and said, I would not have done this, I wouldn't have gotten this thing, I wouldn't have gone for this support if I didn't have this money. And sometimes that's because they don't have the money to do it. Because, some of the people on our team are students who are at university, studying and working a part-time job. So financially accessing those supports could be challenging. And the other reason that they might not have done it is just because they would have always put it off and thought, no, I won't. There always feels like there's something more important. Whereas with this money, they can only use it for this thing. And if they don't use it for this thing, they don't get it for anything else. So it's sort of this constant encouragement to use this money. And then, of course, there's a stronger continuity of care for the clients themselves. So when we're at work and we're our best selves at work, then our clients receive the ongoing effect of that continuity of care and the service that we can provide for them.
It sounds like a bit of a dream. Can I come work for you?
Yeah.
But in all honesty, it sounds like a really fantastic program, but it would have had its challenges that you would have worked through over the years that you've had this program implemented. So when setting up this initiative, whether it was financial, logistical or cultural, what were some of the challenges you faced?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I was afraid of at the beginning was we're already in a position where it's financially challenging and we're in the middle of a winter season and I've got all these staff off sick and it feels like we're down in the valley of this, and now I'm going to put forward that we're actually going to spend money to try and resolve this problem. That was the biggest fear that I had, that I would put the money into it and then it wouldn't make any difference to the team. That was something that I had to work through for myself, and I think that's where I decided to do it as like a pilot program rather than with set data points, set things that I wanted to achieve through it. And there were also some things that needed to be considered, like working with an accountant through how you actually do that when it's not a part of their wage. So our accountant was able to talk us through that and help us know what it was that we needed to retain in terms of receipts and things like that. I think culturally it was just about what's the culture that we want to have at our workplace. It was, the old saying, like, put your money where your mouth is. If you're saying that these things are important in a workplace, then for me, I just felt challenged to do something that I could do, which was small, but was saying I value this enough to put some finances towards it. And I think over the years, it has actually really helped me to focus on my well-being as well, because every time I get one of those applications or I see a staff member reaching out for that support, it reminds me personally that I need to do the same thing. I need to remember about managing my own well-being. And I'll be honest and say I do find that really hard to do. But I'm constantly getting these reminders of like, oh yeah, this is really important. So it's even setting a culture within myself and reminding myself as this is what we're about.
It's that recency effect of keeping it top of mind. It's too easy to fall off the table.
Yeah.
So to practice owners and managers who are likely in the room and online at the moment, who want to start small to create healthier and more supportive workplaces, what advice have you got for them?
I think one of the biggest things that I've always tried to keep front of mind, in spite of sometimes I feel like I'm a split person. I'm the person who's managing a business and has to make that work, and that's a very real thing. And then on the other side, I just want to hug everyone and just be there and with them in their moment and care about all the problems that are going on. And it can sometimes feel like these things can be opposing from each other. And so it's trying to find ways to weave those things in together with balance. But something that I've always kept front of mind, and I say to my staff regularly, is that you are a whole person who is existing for a portion of your life inside this workplace. But I can't ever forget that you are a whole person, and you do have a whole life. And I don't want them to come into my workplace and feel that they do have to forget about everything else that makes up their life and the other stresses and pressures that they might be bringing into the workspace. So I think that just whether it's through an initiative like this or just the culture and the way that you talk to the people in your workplace, it's about allowing them to be that whole person in the workspace, and having initiatives that support them to manage those outside of work stresses, because they are brought inside of the workplace as well. And it's probably just my personality type as well, but I am just a very open and honest communicator on the team. So, when we had these issues, I just brought it to the staff meeting very honestly and said, look, this is where we are. How do we think that we could resolve this together? Here's some ideas that I have. Are we all on board for this pilot program and supporting this together? Yeah, I think it's just having those strong relationships and being willing to have those open and honest conversations with the team, and try something. I mean, I can totally recommend this very practical program that we've done. I can say that it has made a huge difference for us as an organisation, and I feel like it's a small price to pay for people feeling that you really do genuinely value their well-being. So, yeah.
It's a very practical way to help your team to pour from their saucer and not their cup.
Yes.
It does remind me of a quote by Richard Branson. It was something along the lines of, I look after my team so they can look after my customers. These are very practical, very health-focused and team-centred initiative that you've put in place. It's actually really commendable and inspiring.
Thanks, Jackie.
So we now get to open up the floor to questions. So I believe there is a microphone floating around somewhere. It's up the back. So if you have any questions for Jasmine, just raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone. And if not, we might pick on people.
A bit of an easy one, but what's on the application, I guess, just so that I can imagine, I think it's awesome what you've done. But I think if I tried to implement that straight away, people would be like, oh, you're just trying to stop us from taking sick leave. So how do you, and I don't know if that's just I'm a pharmacist who works in a pharmacy, so a little bit of a different environment. But yeah, what do you put on there, or what do they need to, I guess, justify or explain? Because you said it's still pretty open what they can spend it on.
Yeah, so it's a simple form that's one page. It asks for their name, the service that they're providing, the cost of the service, and a receipt for the service minus any rebates that they received. And then they just sign off on it as a fringe benefit tax, so that's in there as well. And that's it. I don't ask for anything more from them because I don't want to know their private health information. Yeah, that's as simple as it is. Yep.
I think we've got time for one more.
Hello. I was just going to ask, if they don't use it, is it, kind of similar to your CPD budget? If you don't use it, you don't get it paid out at the end?
If you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah. And we have regular scheduled reminders in our staff meetings where we'll have a staff meeting focused on wellbeing, and it'll just be a chance for me to say, anyone who hasn't used your wellbeing budget, here's some ideas, really have a think about it. So it's really trying to encourage that everybody on the team uses it. So it's not it's not an unusual thing to use it. It's like forefront of mind. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think we've got one more question.
Has your sick leave timeout gone down as a result?
Yes, sick leave has gone down. So if I'm going to be super open and honest with you all, we have like a 5% buffer in our budget for sick leave, and it was always higher than that, like 7, 8, 9%. And nowadays it's always under 5% for 3%. So it's like very tangibly made a huge financial difference. And I've talked about the finances a lot with you guys today, but I think to your question at the back, for my team, it probably comes down to the heart of how they know me. They know me so well. They know that I'm in it for them. And so when I come to them with that suggestion, it's come from a whole backlog of culture and heart and relationship before it. So I think if you're not quite at that place, maybe starting there first and then knowing your team so you know what initiative would work for your team. Yeah.
Thank you, Jasmine.
All right, please join me in thanking Jacci and Jasmine Allanson.